Hi, I want to ask you to do something. Probably you don't have a copy of the United States Constitution with you. So after you watch this video, I want you to find a copy of the Constitution. And when you find that copy of the Constitution, I want you to find the phrase separation of church and state. Search as you may, you will not find the phrase separation of church and state. Now you will find a clause in the First Amendment that does two things. It ensures the free exercise of religion, and then it does something which is kind of baffling. It prohibits the government from having an establishment of religion. What on earth is an establishment of religion? Well, it might be easier if we go back and we think of the time when the country was founded. At the time that the Constitution was written, 9 of the 13 states had established religions. That is, they were religions that the government collected taxes from the people and preferred or favored or provided funding for a particular church. And if you look at at England, they also had an establishment of religion with the Anglican Church, where it was the preferred church of the state and it had preferences. Now, some people think that the meaning of the anti-establishment clause in the Constitution of the United States was that the 9 states that had their own churches felt that the selection of a church was a state issue, not a federal issue, and it precluded for the federal government from trying to tax everyone to build a national church on top of the local churches. Now, those 9 churches, by the way, didn't disappear because some court came along and told the states that they couldn't have an establishment of religion. They simply disappeared because, as a political matter, as the populations became less homogeneous, as more people with different religions and different values moved into the political territories, they simply stopped supporting a particular church. But if you remember from de Tocqueville, the thing that he said that was surprising about Americans was that although they had many sects of religion, that underlying all of those was a common set of Christian values and morality that united their character and made them a people or a nation. So something happens very strange now. The amendments, the Bill of Rights, initially, of course, didn't apply to the states, only applied to the federal government. So they prohibit the federal government from doing things, and the states were free to do them. Then, after the Civil War, with the Civil War amendments, abolishing slavery and trying to give rights to the freed people, some of the rights that were previously only against the federal government were going to be incorporated against the states. Now the question is, can you incorporate? Which rights can you incorporate? Well, the test that the court has always had, or at least seems to have, is that incorporation applies to those rights that are fundamental to a free and democratic society. Okay. Well, that would apply to free exercise because it is fundamental to a free and democratic society. But could it in any way apply to an anti-establishment provision? The answer is probably no. If you think about it, our model for a free and democratic society is what? England? And England had an establishment of religion. How many of the European states that we see as free and democratic at the time of the founding of our republic had established religions? Whatever an establishment of religion is, it can't be said that not having one is essential or fundamental to a free and democratic society. But there's something else. That idea of the separation of church and state is, for the most part, a modern one that came about in the 20th century. And although Jefferson can be kind of credited with it, it's difficult to find any historical antecedents if you look back to the colonial period, if you look back to early American history. there's a great debate that's going on in this country, but it's not really about what the Constitution meant. It's about an effort of some people to use the Constitution to transform our society. It's about removing religion from the public square. It's about making America other than America, not letting us be what de Tocqueville observed. People who had many different religious sects or groups, but were united by their fundamental set of values. And what happens is we now have this split between most people and the elites over values, and an attempt to suppress the religious-based values from being used to form public policy. Thank you.